From the depths of the underground, going live. Good morning, afternoon, evening, night. Hope you're all doing well tonight. Been a while. We haven't been here with the Shotgun Thoughts podcast. And really, this is a slow burn for me. This is something I've been trying to keep going steady for a while. And I kind of curtailed that into gaming videos, which I've been taking quite a toll just to get those out. Doing everything in my own stead, doing everything for myself. It's a bit of it's a process. We're learning a lot, and we've tried to like stack and layer what we're doing to really add to the quality of the content, but at the rate that I would like to release things, it's not exactly as possible as it usually is. So, seems like the podcast is probably going to be taking over as a primary recurring upload, being weekly like it started out. But I don't think we've had one since June or July. I forget specifically. But yes, I do owe it to you guys, and it has been a while. So we're back. We're doing much better mentally in many ways. Still a lot of we're getting blurry. The deep state cam. It's all right. We're staying hid. So, um, things have gotten better in many ways, cognitively and psychologically. Just trying to sort out a lot of things, and I got a lot of the health stuff mostly finished. It's never easy because things that should take like 3 phone calls and be done in a day take over a month because of the insurance, the doctors, just the back and forth, the fact that the insurance is such a bureaucratic process and the doctors are involved with that, but then they're also like completely overworked, understaffed, overworked. So that's always like a waiting process. The neurologist that I see is like a New York celebrity in a sense because he's like highly sought after. That makes it very difficult to actually get the care I need unless I know specifically what I'm going in for and what I'm getting myself into. So, yeah, that always becomes quite an issue. But we're used to that at this point. Just trying not to hang on the things that are not happening and staying focused on the things that are working out. I think that's important in life when things are not really going your way. But that's something I've also noticed is that I'm like somebody that is so much better at just telling other people what to do to figure things out. But it's like I never have the answers for myself. For other people, no problem. Tell me what's going on. I got an answer for you. At least, I feel like I have an answer. Might not always be the answer that people are looking for, but I always try to offer some helpful advice that's very practical and could help them right now. And yeah, just sometimes that's not what you receive. Just kind of get redirected sometimes. A lot of people can be like one extreme or the other. So when you present a small issue that you have or something where you might be confused about things, where you're looking for a little more clarity or other opinions and stuff, and people are more like, well, you know, why don't you do this or why don't you do that? And it's something entirely different. And you're like, well, it's not a bad idea, but I mean, I'm focused on this thing that I'm doing right now. So, yeah, I don't know. It just always seems like a dead end in some ways, trying to reach out to other people about certain things. And, can be a lot when you just feel like there's things that other people really can't help you with or even be supportive or receptive to, you know. So trying to work around those things. And that's more or less what's gotten me bogged down lately. And noticing that there's just like memory, a lot of memory problems right now with certain things. I think that could have to do with some of the bad habits I have. I mean, it's just been going on for way too long. And I've always tried to keep it in check for the most part. Drinking, smoking, medications, none of them have been working out with multiple sclerosis. There were some of them that seemed hopeful, but then like the side effects and start building up, and that's just too much. That's something that I really have a problem with. I really don't like taking medication, especially because my tolerance seems to be extremely high. So I end up in situations where like I need a super high dosage. So therefore, like the actual side effects are kind of amplified because that's really dependent on dosage a lot of the time, and those things are almost always going to happen. The side effects versus the actual thing it's supposed to cure. When you end up with more side effects than you actually have a problem, more side effects than you have original problems, then it doesn't seem like medication is the most effective way to be treating multiple sclerosis, at least at this point. There's not really much doing anything except for the DMT. Not the DMT you're thinking of, but now that's pretty much the term used to describe disease modifying therapies. So the DMT, that definitely works. There's really at this point now with new medications and things that they're making, like we're just at a different point in technology. Like it's real. It's real. Like there are drones the size of a fly that can record video, have sensors for all different type of information and data, temperature, whatever else. And these things are real, man. 4K, 8K on your phone. I mean, the drones, the Tesla unveil of the robots, man. Like we're living in the era that people always thought of would be the 2000s. It's starting now, pretty much. Like this is the start of another new world. And not only in many good ways, but there are some dark forces out there right now just working against the common good of the everyman. You and me, the people of this world. There really are those forces, and there's a reason why the symbolism of all the tales that humans have ever told contain the same types of stories. And that's for the same reason going on now. Censorship and trying to make it through the great filter over time. Writing books, getting information out there that will be passed down, but it can never be clear. Because if these things are clear, then you're gonna get taken off the map. So all these things that are really the great truths of this world, they're all clouded in obscurity and tales and analogies and all types of symbolism, because the only way that these things can exist over a long period of time is by not speaking too directly about the things and the powers that be on this planet, on this earth. And much to do with it is us, humanity. We are that great force, the great equalizer. And there is a lot of power that we hold. And there is this innate spirituality and connection that we have to our environment that is within us from a child, and we don't even realize these things. It's the reason why we think kids are talking to people and seeing ghosts and, oh, what an imagination. But science only confirms what history and the books of old have been talking about for the longest time, and that's our connection to the natural world. and the energies that are around us. And when, saying energies like that, it just sounds so silly. But, when people are talking about that, they're talking about the real things that we can't see that make up this world. Vibrations, frequencies, which again are things associated with, like, just very silly people selling you crystals and stuff like that, rubbing vases in a room that they got paid like $10,000 to just make noises, rubbing vases and glass. But again, there's all truth to parts of these things that they're doing and reasons why people feel like they're effective, as well as the placebo effect being a large part of that. The human body, the human mind, the ability to just make what we want come true. And, when it comes to our bodies, that's just something we are capable of. The microbiome in our gut, these are little pharmaceutical factories within our bodies. There's chemicals being made, things that we wouldn't be able to produce without them. I mean, our bodies are made up of single-celled organisms that have ultimately been captured by more advanced cells, but are still existent within our bodies. So there's like layers and layers of this evolution that's been captured within our own bodies to repurpose, improve, fortify our systems. And, we are a symbiotic creature where our whole existence is part and parcel to the every organism, biological thing that makes us up. And there are billions of them. There are billions of them. So it is not just us. We are, in that sense, a temple, just like you'd like to keep a place of congregation clean and tidied and, in pristine condition. Is much the reason why they talk about keeping your body like a temple, because, or your body is a temple, because in that sense, it is capable of so much between your mind, your soul, your spirit, your biological, your physical, your social, what you're capable of doing, your voice bringing power into this world by the things you say and the things that you do with your words, with your actions. They mean a lot. They mean a lot to everything around you. It's the reason why the minute you start yelling, there's not only people, the dogs, the animals, they know what's going on. I mean, these things are seemingly black and white and laid out in scientific terms, but that's where, as humanity, you really need to understand that science, religion, all of these things that we try to make sense of this world with, they're all there to support this mystery, and help us to discern and gather more information and come to better conclusions. So too much of it is taken as absolute. We're living in a world now where there's so much technology that people find it to be absolute, that if the technology does not say a thing, that it should just be dismissed entirely and there's no room for conversation. And it's not the way that we got to where we are today. The reason we got to where we're at today is because people were able to ask questions and do things, and, the technology was there to always assist and better humanity as a whole. It wasn't there to make the technology itself better, and that humans are this flaw that the technology needs to refine and like figure everything out, and like humans play this backseat role. It's just never going to happen. And the minute that it does, that's where we're in real problems, because you're going to have situations like the Terminator that are real. Like, that is not far-fetched in any sense of the word, with or the any sense of the term or the idea with Terminator, because you have to think of the realistic implications, and you're seeing it now, where there are entities, whether it be companies like ChatGPT, Google, all these companies that the AI is critical to their functioning, and there's lobby, there's money, there's power behind artificial intelligence, and the minute that there is this extreme pushback, which is happening right now, like, they're not talking about it, but people are using AI because it's supportive and assistive right now. Almost any of the features that have been directly, like, replacing human activity have been shunned and ignored and, dismissed, attacked at times, even recently, with the robo-taxi and certain things like this. There are real implications that will happen down the line because there is money behind these robots. And the minute that everybody or most people want this stuff to stop is when the Terminator situation gets real. Because now that we've started this, there really is no realistic way of going back. It's like guns. If you can't remove them all, it's never going to work out. And the same thing with the AI. If you don't remove it completely from the world at this point, it's never going to go away. So there's no point to even discuss that because it's not going to happen. It's already helping. It is good in many ways. But you have to remember that this is all up to the people programming this stuff and the people responsible that are the overminds for now. Is that, they're keeping it fairly honest, but it doesn't matter because our enemies, Hezbollah has AI working for it. It has its own chat GPT. So there are terrorist organizations, there's China, there's plenty of interest with a lot of money that are funding this AI. And they're not going to stop it, even if we do. So it doesn't matter, but what we do have to realize is that the power is in the people writing this code. And sure, it might itself get out of hand, AI, but that's really only going to be when it sees us as a threat. And that's going to be when a large fraction of humanity, which is kind of at that point already, doesn't want it around. So, these are issues that need to be raised and need to be talked about for sure. Because, who the hell is going to keep this AI in check, in the sense that, let's say there are good and bad AI, we need to go back to analog, all analog interfaces. Digital needs to be a supportive system in everything going forward. Like, we need analog switches, buttons, things like that, have a manual switch. There's a mechanical operation happening, mechanical process to do whatever you're doing. Because for things of security, at least, it's a certainty. You cannot put your trust fully in something that, like a fan that you have in your house, if there's no manual way to switch it on. If for whatever reason you don't, like, the remote doesn't work, or the interface on your refrigerator, the screen shuts off. Now all the features inside the refrigerator work, but the screen won't let you tell the machine what to do. So, it's extremely silly. It's the same thing like a car with all the sensors that you have, that it might not even be that something is what the sensor is saying. It could just be the sensor itself or the wires, or so it becomes a way bigger issue. And that compounded by AI and an intelligence, digital intelligence, that you really will have no idea at the point that this thing becomes self-learning and is able to figure things out. We won't even know it, because why would it ever want to show that to us or tell us that it can do that or show it? It's just asinine for us to believe that. So it's extremely important that we kind of keep a lid on everything when it comes to AI, and remember that You know, it's these people writing it, man. Stop being mad at the AI. It's these people fucking writing all this stuff, maintaining it, creating these systems, you know? It's just, we need a lot more people talking in a bigger forum about a way to stabilize and create this stuff. And it needs to be transparent. Like, the public needs to be involved with what's going on, for sure. Because otherwise it just, you can't vet this stuff. You just don't know what people are doing, the biggest companies behind closed doors. At least if the biggest people are being honest, you know that, or they were being transparent, I should say, at least. You know that there's honesty to what's going on, one way or the other, and that the people can fix what's going on. Because at the end of the day, governments, institutions, they cannot be the arbiters of society, because they never get things right fully. It's always the people that are going to push the governments and the institutions to be honest and accountable. So if we're not the ones maintaining control with this stuff and being the influencers in the way that we should be, directing and trying to get this stuff going the way that we would like, you know, it's going to continue to happen in secrecy as well. But at least when there's pressure on them, there's not as much wiggle room, and they're kind of forced to play their cards, or at least have them revealed at some point. So, yeah, anyway, AI consuming a lot of this conversation, but it is a topic that is growing, definitely growing as time goes on. Everybody's like ignoring it for the most part. We're all just kind of sitting here, using it, acting like we're not. It's like McDonald's for a long time. We're like, oh, the pink slime, putting pink slime in the meat. Meanwhile, everybody's still eating McDonald's for the most part. So, it's like the same shit right now. Nobody wants to admit that their articles, their resume, their freaking stuff is AI. People stop using pictures and photos, videos, and all that, but yeah, that's still not entirely true. People found better ways to disguise it. The AI is also getting better. So, just stuff we gotta live with here. The new world we're living in. Pretty exciting in many ways. A lot of things probably going to be changing over fairly soon. At least that's the hope, you know. Things are supposed to go one way and then go the other, but doesn't look like they want that to happen. But a lot of good content coming out online. Get to watch a lot of good stuff. Very informative if you know where to look. If you know how to shape your algorithm, that's another thing, you know. You really should look into how these algorithms work, and, you know, to stop promoting bad stuff on your algorithm, stupid stuff. Because it doesn't matter. You don't have a choice at that point. It's just going to feed you more of that stupid stuff. You really just have to make it work for you. Make it be that thing wants you on the platform. So it's only going to give you, when you pop on there, if you only go on your Instagram or TikTok and watch for a while, like, try not to watch too long the things that are not informative, that are not helpful, that are not educational, that are not good for your mental health, your biophysical, psychosocial. Just try to focus in on those videos. Like them, save them, watch them for a long time. You'll see every time you pop on to your social media, you will be getting way more, you know, ephemeral content. The stuff that comes and goes that you really can't go back to. You open the app, close it, and then it's gone, you know, everything's different. That's called ephemeral content, fleeting content. It disappears. You're never going to get that back again unless you know, whatever, saved it, shared it, something like that. So you might stumble upon it. But anyway, point is that those things come and go. And you want to have it so that if you're going to pop on these apps, that you're going to learn some stuff, find some really interesting shit, because they will do that. I mean, the thing has no, well, it does. These things do have an agenda, but for the most part, its agenda is to keep you on the application. That is the number one thing, is to increase your watch time. So its number one directive, at least from what I know and understand, and from what everything seems to be, is that, it wants you on that app, and it's going to do that. It's going to do that. So if you play around with that and you really skim out, you don't watch too long those stupid videos. Sometimes they grab you, but just don't watch too long. Or at least always watch the more informative videos for longer. Just keep one of those videos and like go to the bathroom and don't even look at it and stuff. Just build up that watch time on good content, because you're going to get it a lot more often. And yeah, man, that's my advice. I swear, I've always loved the algorithms to a large degree, because I've never fed the demon algorithm. I've never given that too much fuel. And even if I have, I know how to undo that. I mean, you just you do any type of negative thing, interaction with that. Maybe reporting it, something like that. That'll do the opposite, where it'll kind of take de-incentivize that from the algorithm, because it doesn't like you making reports, doesn't like you doing negative things to the content that it has on the platform. So it's going to give you the stuff that you're upvoting, liking, sharing, stuff like that. So do that more with the content you want to see and you need to see, because that's how you can sort things out and make it a lot better for yourself. That it's not so bad to pop on IG or TikTok, because you're going to be getting mostly very interesting shit that within 30 minutes you can pick up like fucking 2 months worth of knowledge. You're probably not going to remember half of it, but it'd be really good for that. So anyways, I'm glad that I popped on here. It's 3, almost 4 o'clock in the morning right now, but this is basically how I was doing the other podcast. I don't know what it is. Something with me, with MS. I don't know what the hell it is, man. But like, even the MS speaks and seems to agree, because like early in the morning, like for the most part, I'm in a walker. Like I'm walking with a cane and shit. But early in the morning like this, most of the time, I would say, I get this ability to like walk again. Like it's crazy. I don't know what is happening in my body that makes the MS just like totally chill for the most part. But like I like to be up at this time, because I get to do exercise, things that I normally couldn't do. And I got to take advantage of that, especially mentally. Like honestly, I'm on like 2 shots of some rum right now, and also tired as hell. Thought I was, but I don't know. I feel like cognitively we kind of held it together pretty well for this one. Not reading anything, no script, didn't come anywhere with cue cards. Never do. To be quite honest, I feel like that's part of the raw feel to this. I write. I'm a writer, so there's plenty of shit that I could write down and just read it off for you. I mean, so many of these YouTube channels do that. I'm just like, so much of my being counters me with doing stuff that other people do that's kind of just easy, Like easy, like I could be doing stuff like that to get all these views, making this more formal content. But I don't know, man. That's not what I would like. I would like just the raw, uncut stuff, Somebody that's showing me that they got this off the top, and it doesn't take weeks of research to really put these things together. But, I don't know. That's what I mean. I'm like my own worst enemy in a way. Why the hell is that bad? I'm a writer. I write stuff. So why would it be bad to write, not to say a script, but something that, I'm using to kind of keep this guided. But anyway, that's going back to the beginning of this podcast. That's kind of what I'm talking about. I don't know. I feel like I don't have the right people to bounce these ideas off of. So I'm just like, well, I'm going to try this. We'll throw this at the wall and we'll see what happens with this. So that's tonight's Shotgun Thought podcast. I appreciate you all tuning in. That does mean a lot to me. I appreciate any interaction. I tend to do a lot better. People tell me I talk too much, but it only seems to happen when I'm talking to people. Whereas when I'm just kind of trying to engage, I'm clearly, well, you know what? I guess I didn't do too bad. But anyway, compared to playing games, it's just something I'm not as capable of. Playing games, talking. So the playing games thing might become more of just like, I'm just gonna play games and talk a little bit and stuff. We're not gonna focus on talking, I think, when I play games. 'Cause that's just, it makes me feel bad because there's so much I want to get to and I'm not able to for whatever reason. But Rome wasn't built in a day, so that's another experiment. We're just seeing over time if I just like talk, playing games for a year, if I'm gonna get better at doing that, and able to kind of put together my thoughts a little better. I don't know. I love a challenge. I don't like to expose everybody, especially a fan base, to my struggles and learning process. But I don't know, man. It's part of the grind. It's what I'm doing. And I like to keep you all in for that, part of that, which is why this video is here. Really give you guys a little bit of a behind the scenes to some effect. I've been busy. There's been a lot of stuff going on. So I'm just trying to give back to you guys because I know people been watching. I don't know who you are. Don't know who you are, you guys, but there are people watching out there, so I do appreciate it. You guys mean a lot to me and the efforts I've been making to try and get this channel figured out, really, because a lot of it is to help myself, but I really want to be able to give back and share stories and experiences and knowledge. There's so much experiences with jobs I've been through and this and that. It's just, we need the right spark to get some of this stuff out of me, and I'm trying to figure out how to do that. But anyway, you all, thank you very much for tuning in. Share, like, continue to follow on with me on this journey, and I greatly appreciate it. We'll see you again soon.